Alright, g'day team, Mike Oldfellas Travels. Bit rough and ready today. I'm just slipping out quickly, but it just crossed my mind, a feature that I found on the DMax. Oh, it took me a while to find out about this actually. I think I'd just seen somebody, I think I seen it on a explanation for the dash system on the Isuzu site, not long after I bought the car. But if you're running low on points, or you don't want to lose any points, or you don't want to get stung for speeding, this here, it might help you out, because I'm not used to driving in the city. Up until the last 12 months, when I sort of got stuck here a bit for reasons I've already spoken about in other videos, it was all country, and I'm not used to driving in the city, and I think I've been lucky, touch wood, that I haven't been stung, because I know I've looked down sometimes and I'm over the limit. This is a while ago, until I found this feature. So if you don't want to get stung by the Federation, because I've got to tell you, the cost of getting stung is going through the roof. It's enough to make a sad dog howl, I've got to tell you. So I'm going to show this feature. Very short, very quick video. Just sort of throw it up for Sunday, and for anybody that's got a DMax, but I'll just show you. It's really simple and it's fantastic. So we'll turn the ignition on. Always wait for the DMax to go through that sequence. I don't know whether you need to or not, but either a mate or the dealership said it's best if you let that happen, because that's kind of a system check. So we're all up and running, everything looks good. I'll start her up. Wait for it to settle down. I must think it's still really dark, the lights come on. So we'll have a look in here and let's see. I might need to get the camera down in there a bit. Let's see if I can get the camera down in here and see if it'll focus for us. That close. Yeah, it kind of looks alright. But we have this system here for the adaptive cruise control. You know, that's increase and set, that's decrease and set. That's to go back to the speed that you're set at, or the speed that's shown on the sign display on the dash. So I don't know whether you guys are aware of this, but this is not the purpose of the video. But if, say you're cruising at 100 on cruise control and you come into an 80 zone and your little symbol down here then shows 80 kilometers an hour because it's read the road sign, if you press on that, it'll automatically take you to that 80 kilometers an hour, or take you to the sign, or take you to the speed that it thinks, that the vehicle believes what the last road sign was. So it's fairly useful. I don't use it a great deal. Sometimes I do if I'm in 80 and I pop up to 100. The DMax is a little bit out at 100 k's. We're about 5 k's out, 4 or 5 k's out, 5 k's under. So I generally just, pump her up a couple to bring up the speed. And when I'm driving, I generally rely on my Garmin Navigator and use that. That seems to be pretty spot on. I've done a lot of testing with this, and it's much better than Google Maps, and it seems to be pretty much spot on, I've got to tell you. Anyway, how do we avoid accidentally getting a speeding fine? So we have this situation where we can use cruise control. We press our cruise control button once, it comes up with the cruise control symbol. Press the button again to enable cruise control. Just watch what happens down here. So if I press it again, it changes this other symbol, and it works just by pressing the button the second time. After you've, first button's cruise control, second button will take you into this speed limiter, and press it again, it'll turn it off, or of course you can use cancel. So the beauty of this is, guys, and I'll just set a speed as an example, because I can't be driving down the road and videotaping, but I'll press my set, and by default it goes 30 k's, which is supposedly the lowest speed you can set cruise control at. Just single taps will take it up by 1 kilometers an hour. If you hold it in, it'll take it up by 5 kilometer increments. And same if you press your minus once with single increments, hold it in, and it'll take you down 5 increments. But let's just pump it up to let's say we're in a 60 zone. So this works the same as cruise control in as much as setting it. But the thing with this is it will not allow you to drive faster than that speed. So if I'm cruising down the Great Eastern Highway, I set this to 62k because I know I'm about 3 kilometres out of 60 zone. And it won't allow me, regardless of how far I push the throttle down, it won't allow me to go any faster than that setting there. So it's not cruise control. It doesn't, you take your foot off the pedal, it'll slow down like you normally would. Put your foot on the pedal and it'll accelerate like you normally would. But it won't allow you to get over that speed. So I'll take it up to maybe 80. So if you're in an 80 zone and you set to 80, doesn't matter how hard you push that throttle, it won't allow you to go faster than the set speed limit there. And as with cruise control, when you turn your engine off or turn your ignition off, that resets itself. Just the same as cruise control. So it's kind of like cruise control, but what it does is it doesn't maintain the speed and the distance from the vehicle in front automatically. It just stops you from going over the speed that you've got set there. And I've got to tell you, I use that a fair bit now because not being used to driving in the city, especially in the early part, I'd often find myself creeping over the speed limit because I'm not used to driving around at 60 k's, guys. I've got to tell you, I'm normally out in the country roads, going like the clappers. So if you're getting low on points or you're particularly sensitive about getting a speeding ticket and you've got a late model Isuzu, now I think that's been in Isuzu since 2020. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that, Toyota Hiluxes and all the late model vehicles are likely to have that feature. The DMax definitely has it, as we've just discovered. But before I forget, let me tell you one more thing. Because initially I'm thinking, but what if I have to accelerate? What's an emergency? What if I'm on a stale green light and it goes orange and I just want to give it a bit more poke? But that will automatically allow you to override that set speed if you punch the accelerator. So if you need to accelerate beyond the speed limit you've got set, punch the accelerator and it'll just override that speed limiter and you'll accelerate like you normally would if you punch the accelerator. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's a bit like an acquired taste. You need to sort of use it and get used to it. And I found in the early stages, it did become very frustrating because I'm so used to the further you push the accelerator down, the faster you go, which is a bad thing when you're in controlled zones, especially in the lower speeds. And I was a bit prone to slowly accelerating over the speed limit. So initially it took me a little bit of self-training to get the acquired taste for using it, but now I use it all the time. And even when I did the run to Leonora in November last year for that quick prospecting trip, I used it then to ensure that while I'm towing the trailer, I'm staying under that 100 kilometre an hour speed limit because speed cameras are getting bad. I seen at Lancelin not so long ago, I was going up, there was 2 speed cameras about a kilometre apart. So you could have got stung twice. Doesn't feel right that when you're pushing the accelerator down, you're not getting any more acceleration. But there's a reason for that, because you're on the speed limit already that you've set it to, and that's the purpose. You've set it that speed limit to keep you, me, the driver, under the speed limit, or at least on the speed limit. So the way speed cameras are going, they're doing you for everything. And I seen a thing the other day, a post the other day where they had 2 speed cameras on a main drag. They were only about 100 metres apart. So you get stung on the first one, you get stung on the second one. That's double points. That's double fines, I imagine. It is a bit of a revenue generator, but I'm a bit on the fence because I think it's getting hot in the car here now, guys. It's quite a sunny day. It's getting hot in the car, and I haven't got the windows down on us, and so I'm starting to sweat up. But I'm sort of on the fence. They need to regulate speed because it does cause fatalities, it does cause accidents, and we need to keep the idiots off the road, which is harder to do than, what it seems. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword because then you see these things where they put 2 speed cameras close together which is obviously going to sting you twice, and hiding the speed cameras behind, basically so you can't see him behind the bush. I remember one time it was the ruling that they had to warn you there was a speed camera there. Perth's pretty good. They have signs up. And tell you a funny story. When I first come back to Perth, and I was driving out Wanneroo. No, I was driving out Upper Swan Way. I was going out to one of the veggie markets out there to get some grapes and such. And I seen this sign of a camera, and I kept looking to see where. I thought, what would you want to photograph out here? There's no elevation. It's just a piece of road. What would they be telling you? There's a photo opportunity. And then I seen one of those R2D2 towers, and then I realised they're telling you that there's a speed camera ahead. Now, I don't remember seeing that in Queensland. And to be honest, I couldn't tell you if I've seen it in other states or not. But with those fixed cameras that are long-term fixed, I think they're giving you a pretty fair go there. They're telling you there's a speed camera. However, I think there is some unjust activities as well. I don't know whether there's much in WA, but I know that there's in Queensland they used to be pretty dodgy at times, guys. But and that's just my own personal opinion on what I've seen out there, and about. So don't take this as gospel. It's just my own personal opinion on what I've observed, driving out and about in Queensland. But there's a definite need for speed cameras, don't get me wrong. I'm probably going to get a bit of flack out of this. Some people strongly agree. There'll be people that have a completely different point of view and they believe it's all about revenue. I believe there is a bit about revenue too. It's definitely about revenue. They're raising money. And I don't know where that money actually goes back into the road systems. It probably pays for more speed cameras. I also think it is a bit of a revenue generator when you see some of the suspect setups with the speed cameras. So we're getting a bit off track there, but when I used that today, and I thought, I wonder how many people actually know about that, because I only stumbled across it. Sometimes when I used to hit the cruise control button, I used to see it and I used to think, I wonder what that's for. But never really paid much attention. I just thought it was a cycle I went through. But then when I found out about it, I was kind of happy. Because I hate paying fines. Mind you guys, whether you believe this or not, and a lot of you probably won't, but it's true, I had a goal when I got to about 40 years old and I hadn't had a speeding ticket. And I made a mental note that let's get to 65, which was the old retirement age, let's get to 65 without a speeding ticket. And now I'm 67 and I've only had one traffic infringement, and that was a red light camera. When I first started driving in Perth, I got stung at night. There was no other vehicles on the road. There's a new set of traffic lights, and I came down, right-hand turn, got the indicator on. I was virtually on the lights, and then I seen the red arrow, and I thought, I'm going to get stung. And two lovely pictures of the back of my cruiser, but at a cost. I think it was 4 points and $300. Ouch. That hurt a little bit. But they have those red light turning arrow cameras for a reason. That's to save lives, guys. And the road is all clear ahead, and I just didn't realise the new lights there had the right hand turn arrow, and I punched. By the time I seen it, it was too late, and I punched through it. So that's the only traffic infringement I've had, apart from some yellow stickers and that. I've had that back in the old days when I was a younger fella. And back in the days, it was a yellow sticker for these fixing, but you still drive, or a red sticker for you're going nowhere, buddy. That vehicle's staying right there, and you get it home some other way. And I suppose as young fellas, we used to make the same noise about that as what they make now about defect notices, because it's the same thing. And but I've got to put my hand on my heart, and I deserve the yellow stickers. Bald tyres, or one bald tyre, because the spare was bald and I had to put it on. Lights not working. A few other things. But, when you're young and you got the older cars as we did in those days, It used to be a fair bit of work keeping them roadworthy. But they do it for a reason, and it's the same with, I know I'll get a lot of flack, and I've mentioned this before, but it's the same with the defects now, guys. They're just trying to save lives. I know they seem unjust at times, but the reason for that is there's so many things that you can be defected for now. The police aren't trained well enough. They make assumptions at times, and maybe, you know, and maybe a little bit of education on, you know, what justifies a defect notice and what doesn't justify a defect notice when it comes to where the line's a bit blurred. But that's something going forward. But, you know, it is about saving lives, guys. And like I said before, if that saves one life because a vehicle was defected that wasn't roadworthy, and when I talk about roadworthy, it might drive all right, it might be great for all drive, it might be great on the beach, off track. But they do a swerve test for a reason. If that vehicle swerves and it doesn't pass the swerve test, you know, swerves and immediately loses control, that's very likely either going to hurt or kill the driver or passengers in the car, or more likely kill some other poor innocent suspect that just happens to be driving down the road the other way. So I'm kind of firm on the fact that I believe there's a reason for that. Like everything, you know, there's extremes and not so extremes. That is a bit of a problem and always has been. Anyway, very distracted, guys, getting on to talking about that. But it kind of all falls in line with the same thing, you know, safety on the road and not getting speeding infringements. And like I said, I'm 67 now, never had a speeding infringement. So what's that? 17, 67. It's 50 years without a speeding infringement. Oh, I've probably jinxed myself, guys. There's probably going to be a mail in the letterbox this week saying I got stung for speeding. Oh, well, that's Murphy's Law, I suppose. Don't go bragging about your achievements. Just stick them in the learning and well done locker and keep them there. So anyway, enough jibber. I'm well off track. Just remember, guys, if you've got a late model vehicle, and I think it's probably vehicles from about 2021 on, more luxurious vehicles might have it, back earlier. But I'm pretty sure the DMaxes in the dash system, I'm pretty sure it ran from 2020 on with the 2020 update. And if I remember correctly, after test driving and checking out the Hiluxes and the DMaxes, I'm pretty sure the Hilux had almost an identical system. I think it's a great system. I'm interested to see what you think. Remember, if you try it, persevere with it, guys, because it is an acquired taste. And I was a bit frustrated. It's frustrated that, for want of a better word, I suppose I did find it a little bit annoying that I was pushing the accelerator down and didn't seem to be... always felt like I was going too slow. But I think that's just a memory map of 50 years of driving where every time I push the accelerator down, the car goes faster. But this is to stop that, and for good reason, to help you stay within the speed limit, which means avoiding speeding tickets. And I've got to tell you, I'm pretty sure I heard the fines and speeding tickets and demerit points, I'm pretty sure I heard they're going up again. Whew. I have no idea what the penalties are for speeding in WA, and I don't want to know, to be quite frank. I'd just rather keep off the accelerator and use that feature, the one that's down in there, to keep me under the speed limit. And if I'm under the speed limit and I ain't getting speeding fines or losing the demerit points, I'm a happy man. The old fella will... that puts a smile on the old fella's face, I've got to tell you. I hate giving money to the government. Oh, grinds my gears. Anyway, rabbiting on. I've said enough. I hope that if you've got a DMax, you check it out. And if you've got other vehicles of the later era with all these electronic safety features, check it out, guys, and at least just give it a try and see if you like it. Give it a little bit of a go and see how you feel about it. Because one, it could save somebody's life. You know, if you're accidentally picking up the speed limit and you're 10 k's over and you have to stop suddenly. That 10 k's makes a lot of difference in the in your stopping distance. So give it a crack, see what you reckon. I'm keen to see comments about it. Comments for, comments against. So I'm not telling you have to, guys, but it's just a feature I wanted to point out because I reckon it's a cracker and the old fella uses it all the time. Alright, I'm sitting here, I'm getting redder. I've got sweat running down my back. See you in the next video, guys. I'm very close to heading the goldfields. Probably one more video before I head up. And then watch out. Old fella is going to be... I've done a bit of research and the old fella's going to be in a gold. See you, team. Woo! Yeah, mate.